Hi LCS artist, it's Mrs. Peterson here. Today we're going to be working on mixing the primary colors to make secondary colors inspired by the book Mouse Paint. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is on the back of your paper, you're going to write your name and you're going to write your room number with pencil. And then you're going to flip your paper over so that I can't see your name anymore. Today we're going to be holding our paper vertically, which means it's going up and down. So for this project, you're going to need water, you're going to need some watercolor paint, or you could just use regular paint if you don't have watercolors. You need a paintbrush, and you also need a Sharpie marker. Now, the first thing that's going to happen is we are going to draw our 3 mice from the story. And today it is important that you make sure you put your mice in the right spot. So at the bottom corner here, I'm gonna put my first mouse. I'm going to draw my mouse like a teardrop shape with the nose facing towards the middle. So here's my mouse. I need mouse ears. There's one. These are also kind of like a teardrop shape. Eyes, a nose, and a tail. So there's one mouse in this corner. Now I'm going to make another mouse in this corner of my paper. So I'm going to do another teardrop shape. I'm going to make 2 ears, 2 eyes, and the nose, and a tail. And you can make the tails however you want them. And I need one more mouse. This mouse is going to be more up here towards the top of my paper, and this one's going to be like an upside down teardrop shape. So I'm going to start here, make my mouse body, my ears, my eyes, my nose, and my tail. Now, if you'd like, you could also add extra details to your mice, but I think I'm just going to keep them simple for today. Now, in between each of my mice, I'm going to draw little paint blobs, like paint spilled on my paper. So I'm going to make one here. I'm going to make one in between these mice. And then one more over here. What I'm kind of making is I'm making a color wheel, but it's a color wheel made with mice and little blobs of paint. So now I'm going to get my Sharpie marker, and I'm just going to go in and I'm going to trace all of my pencil lines with the Sharpie marker. And when I'm finished with this, we'll get started on the next step. Now I've finished tracing all of my lines with black Sharpie, and I'm ready to get started with painting. Before we paint, I just want to review quickly the story Mouse Paint. In this story, the 3 mice hop into 3 jars of paint, and then they get colored red and yellow and blue. So we're going to make 1 mouse red, 1 mouse yellow, and 1 mouse blue. These are the 3 primary colors. I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to make this mouse red. So I'm going to give my paintbrush a bath. And after I give my paintbrush a bath, I'm going to get the red paint. And I'm going to just paint my whole mouse, my whole mouse red. After I paint this mouse red, I'm going to give my paintbrush a bath. And then I'm going to make my next mouse down here yellow. So I'm going to get my yellow paint. I'm going to paint this mouse yellow. It's really important that you give your paintbrush a bath every single time you switch colors. So I'm making this mouse yellow. And then I'm gonna give my paintbrush a bath, and I'm going to make my last mouse blue. And I'll give my paintbrush a bath again. Now, in the story Mouse Paint, after the mice dipped themselves in the paint, they splashed in some puddles. So, the red mouse splashed inside of a yellow puddle, and his feet stirred the puddle until what color? If you said orange, you're correct. It says red feet and a yellow puddle make orange. So that's how we're going to make our puddle right here. I'm going to take my yellow paint, so I'm giving my paintbrush a bath. I'm taking my yellow paint, I'm painting my puddle. And then I'm going to give my paintbrush a bath again. And I'm gonna get just a little bit of red. You don't need a whole lot. And I'm gonna mix my my red and my yellow. I'm going to start to get orange. It's not going to be, when you mix these colors, it's not going to be absolutely perfect, and that's okay. Just try your best to get it as close to orange as you can. So now I have my orange. So after the red mouse hopped into a yellow puddle to make orange, the yellow mouse hopped into a blue puddle, and his feet mixed and stirred until he made what color? If you said green, you're right. Yet yellow and blue make green. So to make my green, I'm actually going to start with the yellow first. So I'm going to take my yellow paint. It's always better to start with a lighter color. So I'm starting with my yellow, and I'm coloring the whole puddle. And then I'm going to give my paintbrush a bath. And I'm going to take just a little bit of blue, and I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to give my paintbrush a bath again just because that's a lot of blue. So I can start to get my green. And once again, it's kind of tricky to mix paints if this is your first time mixing them. So don't worry if it's not 100% perfect. Just make sure it looks somewhat green. Okay, now I'm going to give my paintbrush a bath. And let's go to the last mouse in our story. In Mouse Paint, the blue mouse hopped into a red puddle, and his feet mixed and swirled until what color? If you said purple, you're right. It says blue feet and a red puddle make purple. So what I'm going to do is, purple is probably the trickiest color to mix. So I'm going to start with my red. And I'm going to color my puddle first red. And then I'm going to give my paintbrush a bath. Take just a little bit of my blue. And I'm going to give my paintbrush a bath again. And I'm going to mix the colors to get purple. So I said purple is the trickiest color to make. I think I'm going to add a little bit more blue. Out of all the colors to mix, purple is the most difficult, but it should start to look purple after you mix it together. So now I just mixed my colors together to make the secondary colors. So red, yellow, and blue are what are called primary colors. When you mix them together, you get the secondary colors. So if I mix yellow and red together, I get what color? Orange, excellent. If I mix red and blue together, what color do I get? Purple. And if I mix yellow and blue together, what color do I get? Green, excellent. Now, give your paper a couple minutes to dry, and then we can label all of our colors. I gave my painting a few minutes to dry, and now I'm ready to label the colors on it so that I don't forget them. So I'm going to start underneath this mouse, and I'm going to write R-E-D for red. Underneath this mouse, I'm going to write yellow, Y-E-L-L-O-W. Underneath the blue mouse, I'm going to write blue, B-L-U-E. And remember, if I'm going too fast or you miss a step, you can always pause the video. Then I'm going to also label my secondary colors. So I'm going to label orange, O-R-A-N-G-E. And I'm going to label green, G-R-E-E-N. And finally, I'm going to label my purple. Purple is spelled P-U-R-P-L-E. So now I'm all finished with my mouse paint color wheel. It's called a color wheel because the colors go in a circle. So I made the primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue, and I made the secondary colors, which are orange, purple, and green. Thanks so much for learning with me, and I'll see you next time.